Hello vinyl community, it's great to be back on YouTube. I have had like a little summer vacation away from the whole vinyl community on YouTube, where I have just been out in the Swedish countryside, just being with the family, swimming in a lake, walking around in the forest, just taking it easy away from the city. However, I have been buying records, even though I hadn't had any record player out there. So I have been buying online, and I have been buying in record stores when I got back briefly into back home here in the apartment. Anyway, I thought I would do a little video where I show you what I've got and play some sound clips, just to give you a little quick view of what I have been buying during the summer. The first album I'm gonna show is, actually I bought it before I went away on holiday, and I bought it here in my favorite store in Stockholm, and Ideal for Living. You know, the store where I pass by almost every day when I go home from work. And they always deliver great records. So I picked up this one. This is the second Television Personalities LP. Mommy, You're Not Watching Me. It came out with this in this lovely like collage artwork sleeve. Back in 1982 it came on Whaam Records in the UK. And the labels, they look like this. And I just love Television Personalities, at least their early singles and their debut album. I just love that kind of quirky lo-fi mod pop or neo psychedelia or whatever you want to call it. But on this one they had like moved away a little bit from that early sound. So this LP is much more darker, more like post-punk. So it's a bit like a Bad Trip album in a way. But it's kind of a transitional album, so they still have some of those more early sounding songs on this LP, so it's a mix of them. The new sound isn't bad at all, but it's a bit different, more darker psychedelia kind of post-punk sound. But still a really cool LP and great one to add to the collection.
Just carry on dreaming your magnificent dreams. Just carry on dreaming your magnificent dreams. And if you need someone, I'll be here to comfort you. I'll be here. You should need somebody. And if you're unhappy.
The next LP is from a band that I'm always searching for their early recordings, and it's the Welsh neo-psychedelic band Gorky's Zygotic Mynci, and this is their 1996 LP called Bwyd Time. Bwyd Time. Like the first song there, Bwyd Time, with these hand-drawn labels. Like this. So this LP is from 1996, when they still were this kind of quirky neo-psychedelic band. Gorgeous melodies, almost kind of Canterbury scene productions to some of the songs. And yeah, weirdness and great pop songs combined. And I love this photo of the band here, dressed up like a magician. On their later albums they kind of went away from this type of psych music and made more accessible folk pop, kind of indie pop music. That's also really great, but I prefer the earlier stuff. Yes, I prefer their earlier stuff. Yeah, speaking of psych, but psych from back in the days in 1968, I picked up a copy of this 5-day week Straw People in this absolutely cool psychedelic artwork, laminated UK press. The back is a bit tatty, but yeah. This LP came out in 1968, and it was not really a band, it was more like a studio project that was put together to like profit on the psychedelic trend that was going on. And it was put together by the UK kind of budget label called Saga. This LP is maybe not like top tier psych from the UK, but it's still really an interesting album and it has a lot of potential. I think it was recorded very hastily, like they were just one day in the studio. It could have been better if they had more time in the studio to do the production and do some arrangements and maybe some backing vocals and stuff to the songs. It could have lifted the whole album, but it's still really a cool piece of psych music from 1968. And just the cover here is 5-star in my book. Now to my big find this summer. I found a really rare acid folk, progressive folk LP from UK in 1978. And it's a band from Scotland called Caedmon. And this is their self-titled album. And this is a privately released folk LP. And it's absolutely stunning. It came with this little insert here, and the labels look like this. So Caedmon came from Edinburgh, Scotland, and they have been together playing for many years when they did this LP. In fact, the band were splitting up, and this was like their farewell to the fans. So before they split up the band, they decided to record their material into an LP. And it's a stunningly beautiful LP. It's filled with all those kind of like progressive parts, and they have some sharp lead guitars, electric lead guitars, female harmony vocals, like haunting ballads, or even some fuzz guitars. It's also like a Christian album with some Christian themes to the songs. So a gorgeous album in my opinion. And I've been collecting UK folk, as you know, for a long time, but I have never had this album, and I've seen it many times, but it has always been too expensive for me. But now it popped up on Discogs for like maybe half of the price. So I bought it instantly. The only thing with this copy that I got is that originally it was released together with a 7-inch single, but it wasn't included, so the seller had a lower price on it. But I thought, hey, I don't need that single. I mean, the LP is good enough for me. However, and here's a really cool thing. Today, just before I recorded this, I got a message from the seller that said that he found the single. That he had like thought he had lost the single, but he found the single, and he asked if I wanted to buy it to complete my set. So I said, yeah, of course, and now I'm just waiting for his reply. So I might get back to you in a future video and see if I can complete this set with the single. That would be awesome. But yeah, this is a super rare LP and a really great one. So really excited that I found this summer.
So you turn where the sailors of water and sky journey with you, cross the sea,
So this next single is a recommendation from another VC channel. It's from Ben Rankins down in Australia, in Melbourne. He has a great channel that I highly recommend you to subscribe to. I'll put a link down in the description. Anyway, he always talks about Australian music, and he mentioned a band called God. And he mentioned this single with this really cool cover, God, with their song My Pal. And as you can see, these guys were really young when they did this single. They were only like 15 and 16 years old. And they came up with this absolutely killer single in 1988. And it has become like a really classic when it comes to alternative rock from Australia, or almost like a post-grunge kind of song. And they have this absolutely addictive guitar riff that goes on for the whole song, and it's a great track. And it was released on this Ogogo label down in Australia. And when Ben showed it on his channel, I thought it was a little bit interesting, so I sampled it and I was like blown away. So I instantly put it in my want list, but I realized that this is gonna be pretty hard to find. It was only pressed in 2,000 copies in Australia, this first issue. The second press came with a more yellow cover, I think. So I thought it would take me some time to find this single. A few days later, maybe a week later, I checked Instagram from my favorite seller, and I did for a living here in Stockholm, and they had a picture. And I saw this single in the picture, and I was like, do you have an original God, My Pal? He's like, yeah, and it's like unplayed. And he had a pretty good price on it as well, so I just went there and bought it instantly. So thank you, Ben, for recommending this absolutely killer song. And it's so great that the power of VC is working, people recommending on their channels, and now I have this in my collection. I didn't know about this single before, but really cool band. And they didn't record much before they split up, this band. I'm not really sure, but if you follow Ben's channel, you can probably hear more about them. So great to find this first Australian issue with orange cover. God! This next single is also a VC recommendation, but this time it's from Canada, from Toronto, and from Jay Ferguson. He showed it in one of his great videos. And it's this single by Stamey and the DBs. And I mean, I had heard this song before he recommended it, but I started to look for it a little bit more after he had shown it. And I mean, this is an absolutely classic power pop single from 1978. Came out on Car Records. The A-side here, called Thought You Wanted to Know, is an absolutely classic power pop hit. It was written by the guitar player in Television, but here's the DB's version of it. And I mean, it's a top class power pop song. But I wasn't aware of the B-side, called If and When, and that is like a smashing song as well. I just love it. It's a little bit more garagey or so compared to the more power pop A-side. And I think it's a second press, because the first press had like this stamped number here. I think it came around the same time, but it hasn't that stamped number. But as far as I know, it has this exact same car labels, and even matrix numbers and everything match up with the original, so I think they came around the same time. Yeah, so it was a really cool find, also from my local record store that I have been talking so much about.
If and when you come, I will see you there. I submerge your face, blood all in your hair. I'll be true, and I won't know if and when you come.
If you have been following me on my channel, you know that I'm a big fan of folk rock and singer-songwriter, and I'm always looking for interesting stuff from the 70s and the 60s. And I found this LP. It's by Andy Roberts, and it's called Nina and the Dream Tree. And this is his second album that came out in the UK in 1971 on these classic Pegasus labels. It's a UK original. I had his first LP some time ago, but I have sold it. It wasn't really my thing. But this is a bit of a different story. There are some really great singer-songwriter folk rock tracks on this LP. And I mean, not all tracks are great, but some are really great. And some has arrangements by Robert Kirby, who did the string arrangements for some songs for Nick Drake. An interesting album. I have to dig into this a little bit more. Really cool cover here, fully laminated. Some cool illustrations there on the lyrics.
Suppose that I'm too young to close my mind. But someone slammed the door, put a shoulder to the door.
The next LP is another find from a store here in Stockholm, a store that is called Mynci. And that's like a classic store here in Stockholm that has been opened every day for the last like 18 years or so. So you can go there on Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, any day of the year. For the last 18 years they have been open. I don't think they have had one single closed day. So that's pretty amazing. That's some kind of record, I would guess. And I saw on their Discogs page that they had an album that I was interested in. So I went to the store and got a little better price there. And it's this album called Kevin Vicalvi, with the album Songs from Down the Hall. This LP is included in the book The Acid Archives. So it's that kind of record from the 70s, you know, private press and all. And this was still in the shrink, and the shrink was really tight on this one. So the cover has started to like bend a little bit like this. However, the disc was flat, so that's good. So I probably have to remove the plastic here. Before I got this album, I have heard a song called Letter to Michael Henchard. That is an absolutely killer track. So I just had to buy this record and listen to the rest of it. And it's a really nice, pleasant singer-songwriter folk LP. Very gentle and mellow, nothing too disturbing, but beautiful songs, beautiful playing, beautiful arrangements. This is like a typical Crazy Jimmy record, I would say. I think he would love this LP. So if you're watching Crazy Jimmy, you put down a comment and tell me what you think about this LP. And one song on this LP has been compiled on the album Sad About the Times. It's a compilation that came a couple of years ago. A great comp with a lot of this kind of obscure, forgotten singer-songwriters from the 70s in America. So at least one track here is more known to people, but overall it's a great album, and it's up on streaming, so check it out if you want.
Did you find out where you'd hidden you? Did you discover where you are? After all those years.
So, last but not least, in my Summer Finds video. It's Sloan with their album One Chord to Another. And I have been looking for Sloan records for quite a long time, and they're pretty hard to find here in Sweden. But it turned up a copy from Denmark on Discogs, so I made him an offer and he accepted. At that time it was still sealed copy, but the plastic had come off here, so it has a little bit of ring wear up here. Otherwise it was an unplayed copy. And it's the US copy here that came with an extra vinyl with some kind of live recording from a Sloan party. Very cool. And as you probably know, Sloan has Jay Ferguson here, who is one of our VC brothers. He has a great channel, Records with Jay. I will put a link down to his channel as well. They have gone into more power pop songs here, but they are still rocking out on some tracks. And absolutely killer songwriting, great harmony vocals, great guitars and everything. So this was really cool find, and came with like this insert inner. And of course this album has one of my favorite Sloan tracks, The Lines You Amend. That is an absolutely stunning track. If you want to dig into Sloan, start with that track. I'm gonna insert a little sample here. It's a great song, and it's a great LP. So I'm really glad that I found this one.
Said you found a way to end it peacefully. I remember finding shoes near the lake under a tree, and I'm sitting on the shore. I thought I saw your charm float by. It doesn't matter now, 'cause all you want to do was die. Yeah, if only you stuck around.
So these were a few of my finds during the summer. As you could see, it was a great summer record-wise. I have all these records now to like listen to and dig into now that I'm back here. And I'm gonna be back with more videos, of course. I'm slowly starting to come out of this kind of summer zombie mode, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm gonna start doing videos again, hopefully. Yeah, there are a lot of things to look forward to this autumn. I mean, it's a big record fair here in Stockholm in September, where I'm gonna be as a seller, trying to get some money to Den Bosch. That is in November that I'm going. We have already booked our tickets and our hotel and everything, so we will be there for 4 days and just dig records like crazy. So it's gonna be an awesome trip as usual, I hope. So that's something to look forward to. And also I have bought many more records that will blow your mind, but I decided to save them to do some kind of deep dive videos into some genre or something, so they will come up eventually. Anyway, it's nice to be back. It's nice to hear from you all. Put down in the comments what you think of my records this summer. So until next time, be kind to each other, buy records, go out in the sun while it's still here, and play music. Peace out.